My name is Joe Larocca. I have been a member of the Cathedral for 9 years, unlike Lisa, who's been here so many years. Like many of you, this would not be my neighborhood parish. I live in Jeffersonville, Indiana. There are 2 Catholic churches within a 2-mile radius of my home. To understand why I attend the Cathedral, I need to give you a little history. I moved to this area 40 years ago with the YMCA to manage the YMCA of Southern Indiana. My Y job was very time-consuming, and Mass on Sunday was my personal time. As a child from a large Italian-American Catholic family, Sunday Mass was a big part of our life. If we fought going to church, my mom would often say, just go there to meditate, if nothing else. So I went looking for a place that I could meet my spiritual needs without any distractions. My faith is very personal to me. I did not want to go to Mass where a parent turns to me at the handshake of peace and asks if their kid needs a sack lunch for a day camp field trip on Monday. This actually happened at a church in Jeffersonville. So I started to look around. Someone told me about Mount St. Francis in the Knobs, but the drive was just too much. I found a church here in Louisville that was much closer. The Mass reminded me of my church growing up in Akron, Ohio. It was quiet, and the music and preaching were good. More importantly, it had a mission statement that resonated with me: to offer an environment conducive to meditation and prayer. It was exactly what I was looking for. I was a member of this parish for many years until things began to change for me personally, and the priests were not keeping pace with this change. I was leaving Mass not feeling fulfilled and sometimes a little upset. This was not good, so I decided to go shopping to see what was out there. I'd been to the Cathedral for Holy Days since it had a convenient Mass schedule, so I gave it a try. It's less than 15 minutes from my home. The preaching and the music was, and is, very good. Most of all, I liked the purpose statement: united by faith, enriched by diversity. Here at the Cathedral, I share my talent and treasure. I don't have a lot of the latter, too, but being retired, I have quite a bit of time, or a little time, let me put it that way. I contributed to the church every Sunday, and I supported the capital campaign. Again, my parents taught us the importance of giving to the church. They understood that it took money to operate the church, just like their own household. I give my time and talent in 3 ministries here at the Cathedral. I'm a Eucharistic minister at Jewish Hospital every Sunday, and at the 9:30 Mass a couple Sundays a week, in a month. Excuse me, I messed that up a little bad. I decided to become a Eucharistic minister when I was diagnosed with colon cancer 16 years ago. I was on the receiving end of this ministry, and I've talked to other Eucharistic ministers who've said the same to me. I guess I made that pact with the Lord. You know, that get me out of here and I'll do da-da. Yeah, it meant a lot that some layperson would stop by and visit me when I was most vulnerable. A hospital can be a lonely place no matter how much family you have. On one occasion, I was unable to have food or water, and a person I knew from the Y in Jeffersonville, he was an older Italian-American Catholic, and he stopped by to deliver communion. Like me, he wasn't one for impromptu prayers, so we said the Our Father, Hail Mary, and Glory Be, the best prayers I ever said. Keeping my promise, when I retired, I took the training for a Eucharistic minister offered through the diocese and completed the requirements for a Jewish hospital volunteer. It's a rewarding experience. Just like you were mentioning, Lisa, I get more out of it than I give. Oftentimes, people just want to talk. On one or more occasions, I have a patient get a little emotional during the brief service. And Father, I'm sure you and the deacon have seen this yourself. I also volunteer at the soup kitchen here at the Cathedral. A member of the parish, and again, someone I did know from the Y, knew I was retiring and asked me if I'd be interested in helping out at the soup kitchen. I tried it out, enjoyed the company of the other volunteers. They came from all different walks of life. We have Catholic non-parishioners, high school and college students, non-Catholics, all united in a common cause. I enjoy the conversation and watching some of these young folks just coming of age. I found the lunch guests to be extremely grateful and appreciative, dispelling any myths you might have of those most vulnerable. I hear more pleas and thank yous than anywhere. I also think of them lined up in that alley on a bitter cold winter day or stifling hot summer day for a bologna sandwich and soup. There, for the grace of God, go I. A few months ago, I attended a Golden Stars outing. I'm in that age category. One of the participants was asked to recruit a team to count the Sunday collections. The person who writes the checks can't be counting the money. It's a separation of duties. It's counted by volunteers. I wasn't looking for more to do, but there was a need, and it seemed like a pretty easy task. The previous counters have been doing it for years and getting a little burned out. Again, it's a good group of people committed to the church, and we enjoy each other's company. I hope you will find it in your heart, when asked, to give a little back to the church through your time, your talent, and/or your treasure. You will notice that everything I volunteer for requires very little decision-making on my part. I specifically did not want the stress. I had that for 40 years working. I just wanted a little something to get me out of the house a couple times a week, be around people, and have a purpose. However, if you'd like to make decisions, there are several church committees and groups that are always looking for decision makers. However you decide to participate, you will be rewarded by the gratitude of your fellow parishioners. Thank you for all that you do for the Cathedral of the Assumption. I'll leave you with a quote from Khalil Gibran on giving. You give but little when you give of your possessions. It's when you give of yourself that you truly give. Thank you.